Today's game on ESPNU is presented in high definition. The city of Houston is recovering from the effects of Hurricane Ike. About 25 miles to the west, the city of Katy escaped major damage. They have a little bit of a different rebuilding process. They dropped their first two games this year. They're now all even at 2-2, and one thing they can always count on is tremendous community support as Katy, Texas gets set to play their first non-Texas opponent ever, Cypress Bay, Florida. You're watching the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. Today it's the Cypress Bay Lightning from Weston, Florida against the Katy, Texas Tigers here at Rhodes Stadium. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Cohen, joined by David Diaz-Infante, who played his high school ball in California, went on to win a couple of Super Bowl rings with the Denver Broncos. And for folks who have read the book or watched the movie or seen the TV show Friday Night Lights, you know how special high school football is in Texas, and today, what a thrill. We get to live it through one of the most storied programs of all, Katy, Texas.
Yeah, it should be a classic matchup between one of the top programs in the state of Texas and one of the top programs in the state of Florida. Both schools are proud of their traditions in terms of high school football. Both produce tons of talent for the college level.
Let's learn a little bit more about Katy, Texas. They've been at this game of football since 1939. Enrollment about 2,500, and they play at the highest division, 5A. They're the defending state champs.
Yeah, they are defending state champs, number 4 in the country last year. They are a program that lost 6 players to Division I schools. 3 of those guys find themselves starting right now this year. And so Coach Joseph is reloading his program. They're a young football team, and he really feels like they tried to press a little bit too early in the season in terms of living up to the expectations that come along playing at Katy, Texas.
Meanwhile, Cypress Bay is a very young school, and their coach, Mark Guandolo, has a veteran team. He wants to challenge them by taking them on the road. Here are a couple of facts about Cypress Bay. At one point, about a year ago, they had the largest enrollment of any high school in the country. They play in the top division, in Division 6A. They've got some key players, especially in that linebacking core.
Yeah, they do, and they're led by Shane Gordon. They got one of the best trio linebackers in the country. They have a huge talent pool to draw from, and defensively, they're going to get after you. They attack, and they can run from sideline to sideline. And in terms of the running game, they're led by Jason Douglas. They've rushed for over 400 yards in one game this year, over 300 in another game. Jason Douglas is a real slasher. He breaks a lot of tackles and plays big for a smaller guy.
Well, those are just some of the names you'll be hearing from. Right now, we'll bring in our third member of our crew, Melissa Knowles.
Dave, Coach Guandolo told me before the game that his team is using this road trip as a team-building experience. He wants them to focus on not making a bunch of mental mistakes and getting caught up in the excitement and the hype of this game. He wants them to play their kind of football. And on the other side of the football, we've got Coach Joseph. Coach Joseph told me that it's all about Katy football today. They're also not trying to get all involved in that excitement and that hype, and they want to focus on overcoming injuries and not turning the ball over, guys.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Beautiful day here in Katy, Texas. Warm, 85 degrees. As you look at Gary Joseph, he has been at the school 26 years, an assistant coach, and took over in 2004. So he has been here for many years and many successful seasons.
That's right, and they have a system that they run. Everyone knows it. They've been doing it for a long time, and they become proficient at it. They're going to run the football. They're a power I team, and they really get after you in terms of being physical at the line of scrimmage. These are two schools that are kind of the opposite of the growing trend in football these days of the spread offenses and throwing the ball all over the field. These teams play physical, and they run the football, and they believe in stopping the run on defense.
Well, we're set for kickoff here in Katy, Texas, as Jason Douglas will be back to receive for Cypress Bay, wearing number 3 in the white jerseys of the Lightning from Cypress Bay, Florida. It's about 15 miles west of Fort Lauderdale, officially Weston, Florida. And it'll be Raul Balbuena kicking off for the Katy Tigers. High and short. And the up man has it with a return in the middle. And a return out to about the 27-yard line. That was Amari Sapp, who plays in the secondary when he's not returning kicks. Now we'll get our first look of the day at the Cypress Bay Lightning. They have a left-handed quarterback in Zach Green. Cypress Bay comes in with a record of 3-0. And they're playing here with the 25-second clock in use. They run out of the old Delaware wing tee. Play action fake by Green. And he is sacked. Back at the 17-yard line. We have a flag down on the play. Elvin Tapong on the stop, the outstanding nose tackle for the Katy Tigers. Let's listen into our official.
We got a substitution infraction on White. Player did not come into the numbers. Decline. Second down.
Well, we have our first penalty of the afternoon, an illegal entry by a player coming in. So it becomes second down and 18 now. As you had a look at Mark Wandolo, the head coach of Cypress Bay.
And a veteran team, they don't like to see starting out the game with a penalty. Those are mental errors that you count on your seniors to take care of.
Little nifty reverse play. And that is the ball carrier taking it out of bounds across the 30-yard line. As we look at the Cypress Bay offense, Corey McCabe who carried there on the wingback reverse. Max Vasquez, Brian Campanile wearing number 81, Jason Douglas and Craig D are your backs and receivers. Very good offensive line. Tucci, Ferrero, Tripp, Fainer, and McNamara. Leslie Tripp playing with a very heavy heart as his mother passed away earlier this week very suddenly. In the flat, Campanile, the tight end, with the catch out close to the first down.
And interesting to see Cypress Bay come out the game, throwing the football, a little play action pass. They call it the multiple wing offense. They do a lot of different things out of it. Obviously, play action pass paramount in that offense as they run the ball so often. And Zach Green coming in this game only had 18 attempts. So they make a living by running the football.
So we'll get our first measurement of the afternoon. And it's going to be short by about a yard, so it brings up fourth down and 1. Cypress Bay with wins over Dillard, Boyd Anderson, and Western McKnight. And they have a perfect 3-0 record. Mark Wandolo has coached about 20 years in the state of Florida at 4 different schools. And they are not bringing the punting team on, so this power running team, David, looks like they're going to go after it right here in the first quarter.
Yeah, when you run the football, you feel like offensively you can pick up a yard anytime you need it. We'll see, because they are in their own territory. This could be a big break for Katy if they fail at this attempt.
They go wide with Douglas. He weaves his way toward the 40-yard line, and he has the first down. So it's a 3-yard pickup for Jason Douglas. And the first gamble of the afternoon pays off.
And you see Cypress Bay, they just run the quick pitch. They get a big offensive lineman leading the way out there. And Jason Douglas breaks the tackle. He gets contact at the line of scrimmage, but fights that extra yard.
Alex Tucci, 79, led the way in that little quick toss sweep. First and 10 from the 40, the inside handoff. And very short yardage, maybe a yard on the carry. That was Shane Gordon, a two-way player who was in on the carry. Here's a look at the defensive line of Katy, Texas. Michael Bray, Elvin Tapong, and Matt Wines. Tapong had that earlier sack. The linebackers are Barley, Matney, Clifton, and Chandler. Zach Griffin, Sam Hall, Van Atwood, and Ryan Rose. Starting lineups brought to you by Nike. Second down and 9. On the cutback, it is Douglas with a gain up to about the 45-yard line. We'll give him 4 yards on the carry. So the Cypress Bay Lightning will be faced with a third down and 5 coming up. The opening drive of the game.
You can see Jason Douglas right here again. They're going to get him the football. It's just a handoff. They get two offensive linemen pulling out in front of him. What I like about that run is he didn't take any chances. He cut upfield when he saw the first crease and lowered his pads and picked up a chunk of yardage.
Play came in late. They're at the line of scrimmage now with 7 on the play clock. And they get it away in time with a bootleg action. And the lefty reverses field. He's got running room, but he is going to be sacked and brought down. The ball comes loose, and Katy covers it up at the 30-yard line. They're going to say it does belong to Katy, but then the other official saying the runner was down. Take a look at it.
Watch Zach Green. He's scrambling. He's got linemen out in front of him. Pulls the ball down, trying to extend the play with his legs. Katy defense all over him, though. That ball looks like it might have come out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You see him right there scrambling for his life. That ball is out before his knee hits the ground.
So after the 4th down gamble worked, now it is 4th and long. And let's see if Cypress Bay is bought on their punter, Stephen Fosher. There is no punter lined up behind the personal protector, and we have a flag down on the field. The referee picks up the flag and wipes it off. Now Cypress Bay is going to call a timeout. So we have a timeout taken by Cypress Bay 3 minutes into this game. After a near turnover, we've yet to see Katy with the football.
Yeah, that's early on that we're seeing a couple mental mistakes by the Cypress Bay football team, Mark Guandolo. And let's look at that play again of what looked to be like a fumble by Zach Green, called down by the officials. Remember, high school football, there is no replay rule. So what's called on the field stays. And that ball is clearly out before his knee touches the ground. But unfortunately in high school, you don't get to replay that. Either way, it looks like Katy Texas will get the ball, but certainly a different spot on the field. Field position be drastically different.
We do have sort of a hybrid set of rules because the state of Texas plays under NCAA rules, but of course we're using high school timing rules, 12-minute quarters, and the goalposts are 23 feet wide. And in college, of course, you can't have a replay, but not in this game. So now Fosher, the punter, is on, and we're getting a discussion on the near sideline between the head coach, Gary Joseph, with the referee, and now he's pretty fired up.
He's a little hot. Right? Coach loves what he does, and he's done it pretty darn well here at Katy.
High and very short, even with the wind behind. Fosher, it hits on the 31, takes a Cypress roll inside the 20. And it's all the way down to about the 12-yard line. That took a 19-yard roll after it hit at the 31. 47 yards on the punt. We're going to look at the Katy Texas Tigers on offense for the first time when we return on ESPNU. ESPNU's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike is brought to you by Old Spice Swagger, the scent that makes a difference. And NikeFootball.com. Leave nothing. Welcome back to Katy, Texas. Dave Cohen, David Diaz-Infante, as we bring you this interstate game between Katy, Texas and Cypress Bay, Florida. The very first time Katy, Texas, in their long storied history has met a team from outside the state. Parker Ray is the senior quarterback. This is primarily a running team, and they show their I formation on first down. And it's the tailback with the carry. A 2-yard gain as we bring you the backs and receivers. Garrett Glover, Kyle Hirschfelder, Bryce Callender, Chris Roberson, and Michael Weber, the running back. Offensive line, Cameron Travis, one of the ESPN 150 recruiting candidates. We'll be talking about Aaron Poteet, a very good pulling guard, Zach DeGelder, Austin Summerall, and Shep Klinke. Big Zach Swanson, flank to the right at the bottom of the screen. He's a big target. Little toss sweep. And room on the outside for the running back Weber, who's run out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 16 yards before the Cypress Bay defense ran him out. Saxon Cabrera, Josh Kelso, Juan Montoya, and Phil Walker, a linebacker who moves up occasionally on the offensive line. Lance Marstad, Jonathan Towle. And the secondary, Josh Smith, Carl Miles, C.J. Ulysses, Miles Dolman, and Amari Sapp. First down for the Katy Tigers. Scoreless, first possession of the game. Starting lineups brought to you by Nike. Here is Weber up the middle and a quick hitter out close to the 40-yard line, but there is a marker at the original line of scrimmage. Offsides is the call, and it's declined as the run up the middle netted more than
lined
5.
Up in the neutral zone. Penalty declined. Third down.
So it becomes third down and about 3 for the Katy Tigers.
The Katy Tigers making no mistake about it. They're going to come out and try to establish that line of scrimmage. That deep set, eye back, running the football.
Offset eye now behind Ray, and he gives it, and a good stick by Shane Gordon and company, well short of the first down. Let's get an update now from Lowell Galindo in our ESPN SportsCenter U studio.
Well, guys, Texas Tech is starting the aerial assault early against Kansas State. Graham Harrell to Lyle Lingon, somehow getting that foot down inbounds. That is a touchdown. Red Raiders 7-0 in the first quarter.
So now it is third down and a long 2. And again, the offset eye with an extra tight end on the right side. Weber on the cutback. He's going to be very close, and the ball may have popped loose.
Looks like Weber lost the football going down to the ground. And early on, you can see why they're excited about Michael Weber. He's a slasher, a baseball player. He missed spring football, was injured all of last year. And so it's taken him a little time to get his rhythm back and time in the zone running scheme that the Katy Texas Tigers run on the offensive side of the ball. Great job of him right there, lowering his pads, knowing where the first down marker was, and being physical at the point of attack.
Weber, who missed last week's game and some of the preceding game because of back spasms, already has carried 5 times for 29 yards. Same formation again, and a little bootleg action by Ray throwing over the middle, and he's got the big man for a first down inside the 40-yard line. The ball is caught by Taylor Brandt, a 20-yard pickup, and a first down in the first foray into Cypress Bay territory.
What do you do when you come off that zone play? You fake it one way, quarterback keep pass left. Cypress Bay plays upfield. Parker Ray sets up inside and finds his big receiver right over the middle. Plays catch with them, gets down, nice play.
They had Grant and Swanson in the game at the same time. 2 targets, 6'5" and 6'6".
Yeah, that's some good-looking receivers.
Operating now from the 37-yard line of Cypress Bay. Weber again, the tailback with a big burst, loses the football. Picked up and returned by Carl Miles. And it's going to be Cypress Bay ball at their own 35-yard line. Just a perfect bounce right into the hands of Carl Miles. And Cypress Bay gets the football back.
Look at the hole that the offensive line opens up for Michael Weber. He heads upfield on contact. The ball, the tackler's hand just slaps the football. That ball's got to be tied against your side. Ball security paramount when you're breaking through the line of scrimmage. Ball clearly comes loose. Advantage Cypress Bay. One thing to cause a turnover, it's the next thing to decide as a team in offense. Can you capitalize on it, make the other team pay?
Well, let's see now if Zach Green goes to the air as they have to rush the defense back on the field for Katy. Campanile in motion. It's Douglas cutting from left to right, trying to turn the corner. He does. He's into the clear, and he's run out of bounds in Katy territory, and you can see the speed and explosiveness of Jason Douglas.
You can see Cypress Bay again. It's a handoff outside, 2 lead blockers, and they get to the edge of the perimeter and seal it off for Douglas to get around the corner, and you see his speed. Watch that burst right there, up around the corner. Big offensive lineman run around, get to the outside shoulder defender. Big yardage for Cypress Bay.
So Jason Douglas with 24 yards now on 3 carries. Same formation. And they fake it this time, give it to the inside man. Chris D bursting into the clear, and he has a first down at the 32-yard line. The inside handoff successful. Let's get an Alabama-Kentucky update from Lowell Galindo.
Well, guys, the Wildcats came into this game against Alabama with the nation's #1 scoring defense, 5.5 points per game, but with one play that average going up because Glenn Coffey breaks off a 78-yard touchdown run, 7-0 Bama.
On first down, it's Douglas trying to sweep right to left. He had to hurdle his own man. One of his offensive linemen was down on the ground, and it's a short carry on first down.
Boy, he went over the top to try and find some extra yards. Sam Hull made a nice hit. Physical tackle. There's Jason Douglas. Look at those numbers so far. Averaging 8.4 yards a carry.
He's going to get a little breather now as he departs. So does Greg D. So new backfield folks, and actually Cypress Bay goes to a spread formation. Nobody in the backfield except for the quarterback. Zach Green, the lefty, operating out of the shotgun. With time. In a crowd and nearly intercepted. That ball was forced in there, and Ryan Rose got his hands in it, and he had clear sailing.
See, good protection early by the offensive line. He sets up to throw. Zach Green does right into double coverage. And it was Ryan Rose nearly making the interception. That would have gone for 6 the other way. Nice break on the ball. Got to be careful. You'll see young quarterbacks, especially in the high school level, they start locking in on a receiver early. That's one of the habits you got to get out of as you start going to the next level.
Cypress Bay is confused as they come up to the line of scrimmage. The flanker doesn't know where to go, and they have to burn a second timeout. So Coach Mark Guandolo now not happy with burning the second timeout. And in this scoreless game, we'll tell you about Maryland and Virginia coming up at 7 Eastern time. See the future stars of college football later tonight on ESPNU as the Ironmen of Don Bosco Prep take on De La Salle Spartans. College football primetime presented by City on ESPNU tonight at 7 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Here's Gary Joseph lecturing his defense on the near sideline. Scoreless game, David.
Scoreless and early on as we look at Coach getting his defense fired up. But when you talk about Cypress Bay and Coach Guandolo, he's clearly not happy with this football team so far. Substitution problems early on. Had to burn 2 timeouts already in this first half. And that's a situation when you have a veteran team. Those things got to be in order. And you know, maybe it's on the road. They've been traveling. But those are clearly things that are within your control.
So they show split backs now on 3rd and long. Douglas to the near side, and he's run out at about the 25-yard line. So he had come out on the previous play. Then there was the timeout taken, and Douglas came back in.
And he has some real quickness, acceleration after he grabs the football. And Cypress Bay, they got some confusing things going on there in the backfield. Motion blocking down, tackles pulling out, crossing action in the backfield requires a defense to play very disciplined in terms of gap responsibility.
Now they are deciding to go for it again for the second time in this first quarter on 4th down. It's 4th and 3. And we get movement and a flag. A rather sloppy start in this first quarter, and this looks like it's going to go against Cypress Bay. And if it does, they may have to bring on the field goal team.
When you start asking your kicker to do a lot with the wind, could be a factor here.
Got a dead ball, neutral zone infraction on the offense, still 4th down.
That's a little unusual. Neutral zone infraction on the offense.
Prior to the ball being snapped. They weren't even really set at the line of scrimmage.
And now it looks like Cypress Bay is going to take another timeout. That looks like the third one they've taken here in the first quarter. So it remains scoreless here in this first quarter. Let's go back to some earlier action. And here is a play in which a fumble was ruled near the end of this play. And let's see if the quarterback was down before.
Zach Green scrambling to buy some time, make a play downfield, gets called down. The fumble comes loose. It was clearly a fumble. The ball came out before his knee hit. But in high school football, replay is not in the game. It's not a part of high school football. The call stands as it's made on the field. And here's some of the other rule differences.
Yeah, we're playing, again, in the state of Texas, the state of Massachusetts. They play by NCAA rules, most of them at least. But we're using the 12-minute quarters, the kickoffs at the 40-yard line. The goalpost, the width, is the same as in high school at 23-4. And there are many other differences between high school rules and NCAA rules. And now on 4th down and 8, Cypress is going to go for it again. They've been successful once before. Campanile in motion. Straight drop. Over the middle for the tight end. And it is incomplete. He would have been shy of the first down. So Katy, Texas will take over on downs here in the first quarter with 5 minutes remaining. We've got a official timeout here with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cypress Bay and Katy scoreless on ESPNU.
Michigan up 7-0.
Thank you, Lowell. Back with you live here in Katy, Texas. Dave Cohen, David Diaz-Infante, DDI, as we like to call him, in the scoreless game. First meeting ever between Katy, Texas and a non-Texas team. We've had penalties and turnovers so far. The toss to Michael Weber. He's got a head of steam, and the bruising running back takes it out across his 40-yard line, closer to his own 45 after a 12-yard first down run.
Katy, Texas loves this toss play to Weber. See him out. Look at the hole that the offensive line opens up. They knock guys outside, seal the inside, create a nice running lane for Weber. Weber out last week, banged up as well, and Coach talked about him trying to find some rhythm.
Wide receivers both ways. Katy lives by the run, essentially, but now they show pass the quick hitch pattern to Brandt. He breaks away, and Brandt is shoved out of bounds in Cypress territory. He's one of those two big targets, 6'5", Taylor Brandt.
And they catch Cypress Bay playing soft coverage, and they're just going to play a little catch between Parker Ray and Brandt. You see it right there. Play catch with the big wide receiver, break a tackle, pick up some yardage.
Brandt's a young man who has come off a suspension, and he's been welcomed back by his team. Elevated also from the JV ranks after that suspension. And he is a big receiver, a big target. First down now at the 43. Weber gets the call with a good lead block, and he gets to the outside. He has clear sailing. One man can stop him. He does not. Touchdown! 42-yard run by Michael Weber.
Michael Weber again. They're going to run it up inside, lead fullback. Look at the hole again, opened by the offensive line. Weber's got one man to beat, shakes him off across his body, and takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. Great to see Weber tuck that ball away towards the sideline again after that fumble earlier on their first possession. Ball security on his mind, running hard. You see the quickness.
Now Raul Balbuena for the extra point. It's good. And with 4:20 to go here in the first quarter, Katy, Texas has a 7-0 lead on Cypress Bay. As you look at Michael Weber reaching the end zone for the first time this year. 7-0 Tigers over the Lightning. Seven to nothing. Katy, Texas leading Cypress Bay, Florida. On the long run by Michael Weber, his first touchdown of the year, and he is closing in on 100 yards in the first quarter of this game. What a start he has had. as we await the kickoff from Raul Balbuena. Sapp and Douglas back deep for Cypress Bay. Cypress Bay, a team averaging almost 35 points a game in their first 3 wins. They come in undefeated. High and short, Douglas lining up underneath it at the 15. And he's tripped up and brought down quickly at the 21-yard line. We're live in Katy, Texas, which is just about a half-hour drive from downtown Houston. There's Old Katy and then Greater Katy. It's the intersection of 3 different counties, and this is a rapidly growing area. Beautiful area. Dates back to 1872, and you know how they got the name Katy? There used to be a railroad, the Missouri, Kansas, Texas Railroad. Somehow Missouri got lopped off, and Kansas, Texas got shortened to KT, and KD is how we're here.
I tell you what, you never know what you're going to learn on watching a little high school football.
Cutback move by Douglas. He got 2 very hard-earned yards, and that's it.
And that Katy defensive front led by Tapong, tightening up along the line of scrimmage. Fired up after watching their offense take it down the field, led by Michael Weber.
A long first quarter marked by penalties and timeouts. Cypress Bay has used all 3 of their timeouts. So they'll have to wing it or ad-lib it for the rest of the half. Here's Douglas trying to sweep left, loses his footing and goes down. He may have lost a yard or 2 on that play. Now we're playing on artificial grass here, turf, and Cypress Bay is predominantly a real grass team.
Yeah, that sport turf makes it fast out there. Watch the Katy defense penetrate the line of scrimmage, and look, boom, 4 or 5 hats right on the football, putting pad on the ball carrier. That's how you swarm. There's Douglas. Look, he's got nowhere to go. 1, 2, 3. And here comes the rest of the troop rallying on. That's the way to play, led by Zach Griffin. That's their cornerback coming up playing physical at the point of attack.
3rd down and 9. And it looks like Cypress Bay isn't exactly sure as they break the huddle again with a flanker out to the right. Here's the bootleg. And an open man is Campanile. He's got the first down at the 35-yard line. Little crossing pattern. Good for a first down, 12-yard pickup.
Yep, there's Zach Green working the second level of the field. Again, fake the ball up inside, roll him out to the left. He's going to have to stand tall, the left-hander, and deliver on the second level, the tight end crossing over the middle. And Zach Green took a hit right there after delivering the football. Looked right down the gun barrel, didn't shy away.
So it's a first down for Cypress. Here is the sweep. Nobody out ahead of Douglas. He had to try to do it all by himself, and he was cut down. Let's go to our studio, Noel Galindo, for a SportsCenter U update.
Yep, and here's what Texas Tech is doing against Kansas State. Yep, going to the air once again in the red zone. Graham Harrell, Michael Crabtree slipping through the tackles. Red Raiders up by 7 in the first quarter.
So Douglas continues to be the workhorse, but the last 2 times he's carried, David, he hasn't had anybody helping him. No lead block.
Oh, well, I tell you what, it's that Tigers defense and swarming the football. Sam Hull right there. He had 22 tackles against North Shore a little while ago. He's all over the football field.
Deep drop. It looked like a screen. It's instead a sack. They came bursting right through the seams to sack Zach Green. Nick Narcisse with a sack. An 11-yard loss, and it's all going Katy's way now.
That's right. Things are going downhill for Cypress. The quarterback turns his back to the defensive front, running play action. Narcisse right there. Didn't miss the layup. There's 3 Katy Tiger defenders all chasing the quarterback. Play action pass. If they're bringing pressure, you have to abandon the fake and pick up the blitzers. That's the golden rule. There's Nick Narcisse right there, 6'2", 180-pounder. He's got some wheels, just a sophomore. They're excited about his development in the program.
And they should be. 3 sacks in the first quarter by Katy. Here's an inside handoff, and great balance and breaking free for a first down, and tiptoeing down the line, but unable to stay in bounds, is the 2-way performer, Shane Gordon. Nice, tricky inside handoff. What a fake carried out by Zach Green.
That certainly was. They had me faked out. I could have found the ball at first. They faked the, looks like they're going to fake the dive. They actually gave it off to Gordon right up the middle. The all-star linebacker shows he can also run with the football. And you see Gordon there regain his balance, fights his way to his feet, and you see him step out of bounds right there.
Shane Gordon, who won a state championship in Florida playing for Chaminade Madonna, which is where his coach, Mark Guandolo, used to coach. The player preceded the coach. Nearly bobbled on the punt, and Fauché gets it away. The return is by Hirschfelder from the 20 to about the 26, 27-yard line, and Katy will go from there. Monday at 7 Eastern, Lowell Galindo, Mike Gottfried, and Tom Lukaville deliver Inside the Polls, presented by 76. All season long, we'll break down the polls and dissect the hot topics of the day. Who's overrated, who's underrated, who deserves to be number one. Then Tuesday at 1 Eastern, Lowell Galindo hosts Coach's Spotlight, presented by Liberty Mutual. See and hear how a team is doing straight from the head coach as we bounce around coaches' press conferences from all over the country. Inside the Polls, presented by 76, Monday at 7 Eastern. Coach's Spotlight, presented by Liberty Mutual, Tuesdays at 1 Eastern. 7-0 Katy, Texas, still in the final minute of the first quarter. With a slot to the right, and they counter it back to the left. Michael Weber on the carry, taken down at the 31-yard line to pick up a 4 on the play.
Michael Weber running hard early in this football game. About 30 seconds left in this first quarter. He's been the main workhorse for Katy.
9 carries and 97 yards.
He came into the game averaging 8.4. I thought that was pretty good. He's already up to 10.8, and you got to give credit to the guys up front. They've been doing an excellent job of maintaining their blocks, making holes at the line of scrimmage, and getting Weber, their great running back, to the second level.
Well, it was a long first quarter, only 7 points. They belong to Katy, Texas. And we've come to the end of the first quarter in our interstate showdown. Cypress Bay, Katy, Texas, scoreless. 7-0 Katy as you're watching ESPNU. 7-0 Katy, Texas, leading Cypress Bay, Florida. David Diaz-Infante, former offensive lineman. You've been keeping a close eye on the interior blockers.
And I've been impressed by how this offensive line has come together. And talking to Coach Gary Joseph, he was talking about how they're starting to get a rhythm. Their center, Zach DeGelder, is a converted tackle, and they're starting to learn how to work together in that zone running scheme, and it's certainly paying off here early for Katy.
Big stick made by the linebacker, Gamble, and that brings up a 3rd down and long now for Katy, Texas, leading by a score of 7-0.
You know, it's interesting when you run that zone running scheme, they're running power and ISO. It's such a rhythm between running back and lineman. A fast young running back learning patience in terms of how and when to hit the hole. The offensive line knowing how to work together at the line of scrimmage and bouncing off to the second level. Those are things that take timing, repetition, practice, and it's certainly starting to pay off here today.
Play clock was down to 4. They ran the play in late, and Katy is forced to burn the timeout here in the opening minute of the second quarter. So the first timeout used by Katy. They have 3 timeouts in each half, so they're down to 2. Cypress Bay has used all 3 of their timeouts in the first quarter. Let's go down now to Melissa Knowles with a story of a rough start to the day for Cypress Bay.
David, sure was a rough start. Coach Guandolo told me that, he was trying to keep things pretty normal for the guys. They got up this morning, had breakfast, but then about 12 of them got stuck in an elevator for like 20 to 30 minutes. Some of them were in there panicking a little bit. They had some claustrophobic guys in there, so that definitely wasn't the way they wanted to start the day. We'll see how that may affect them and some of the players for the rest of the game.
Must have been those big offensive linemen who exceeded the weight limit in the elevator,
I tell you what, I wouldn't have been stuck in there very long. I would have climbed my way out. That's got to be a bad feeling. And that's, you talk to Coach Guandolo, and why do you play teams out of state? And he just feels like it brings a team together. It's a great experience for the kids, and it really gets them ready for playoff football in Florida. Learn how to play a big game. It's like a weekend in the pros almost.
Yeah. Learn to deal with getting through the airports, getting stuck in the elevators,
All a part of a road trip.
Yeah, here we go with a big 3rd down and 7 coming up for Katy, Texas. They lead at 7-0, operating out of the I. And a near completion, a diving attempt on the near sideline by Taylor Brandt, who's getting a pretty big cushion. That would have been easily enough for the 1st down. Instead, it falls incomplete.
You watch Parker Ray. He sets up in the pocket, delivers the ball, getting some late pressure, throws the ball early and on time. Brandt's got to find a way to make that catch. He should have turned his hands over this way, use the hands instead of cradling that ball to the outside. Very catchable. Big third down opportunity there, missed by Katy.
So we'll get a look at the punter, Davey Hurtado, for the first time today. Standing back inside his 20-yard line. First punt coming up for the Katy Tigers. Block. That ball was blocked practically out of the hands of the punter, Hurtado. And it is going to be Cypress Bay taking over inside the 20-yard line. C.J. Ulysses on the block.
Special teams always a factor, and there it is. Ulysses comes up, takes the ball right off the punter's foot, and that was a fast snap, a little bit high. That means Ulysses came straight off, unblocked, unchallenged. There it is. Watch him lay out, take it right off the leg. That's textbook how to block the kick. Never left his feet, ran, took it right off the punter's foot. Now we'll see if Cypress can capitalize.
In game one this season, Josh Smith blocked a punt that resulted in a touchdown in the win against Dillard. Here's Douglas trying to sweep right from behind. Somebody got a piece of jersey and they slowed him down and brought him down after a short gain. Good backside penetration.
That pump on that snap was on a rope a little bit high, but it was Ulysses coming in unblocked, free, taking it right off the foot of the punter. Textbook. Picked the spot where he thought the ball would be. Never broke stride.
So it's second down at 8. Campanile motions right. They go that way again. Douglas finds a hole up the middle, and he is taking it down very close to a first down at about the 10. 7-yard pickup. Little man runs well inside. Jason Douglas.
Yeah, that's one of the things Coach talked about. He runs big for a guy. He's also a 10'7", 100-meter kid, so he can really scoot once he gets out in the open field. Likes the inside zone, and that time he could have stretched it wide, but saw the first team and took it. Third and short. Let's see if they can muscle up. Ranked number 38 running back by ESPNU top 150.
Little crisscross, and D breaks the tackle, gets to the outside toward the goal line. Touchdown. A 10-yard run. It was nearly stopped in the backfield for a loss, and a little counter crisscross play.
Craig D almost committed the cardinal sin of losing ground on a short yardage situation, but he breaks the tackle, bounces it outside once more, and watch the effort taking the ball over the goal line across the pylon. Nice job from the senior. Running hard.
Now Luke Gray on to attempt the extra point and tie this game at 7. Low snap. They get it down. It's blocked. You cannot return the ball for 2 points under high school rules. So in effect, the play is dead. And we have a 7-6 game. That's one difference between the high school rules and the college rules. So we'll get another look at the second block kick of the game. This time it's a blocked extra point. 7-6, Katy.
Nothing, roll tide.
Thank you, Lowell. It is a 7-6 game here at Katy, Texas. First time ever, Katy has faced a non-Texas team. Cypress Bay under Coach Mark Wandolo. They'll be back here again next year. You have to sign a 2-year agreement to come here, and the team split the expenses. And Cypress Bay traveled 93 players. 75 were paid for by the expenses from this game. The Booster Club raised the funds for the additional 18 or so to make the trip.
Yeah,
that's 93.
Yeah, and it's a great experience, not only for the traveling team, but for the home team as well. getting a chance to play against some top competition from another state. When you talk about high school football and the top high school football, you know, it's California, Texas, Florida. All those schools and all those guys that came from there are always talking about who plays the best high school football, and now they get a chance to battle for it and take home some bragging rights.
Let me hear the order again.
Did I say California first?
I think he did. Did he? Yes, he did. He said California, Florida, Texas.
Hey, watch out for De La Salle out there in Concord, California.
Yeah, they are one of the best, if not the best, high school program of all time, and many consider Katy to be the all-time top program in the state of Texas.
Similar reputations.
Cypress Bay has only been in existence for 7 years. They've won state titles in baseball and tennis, swimming, and they're hoping to do so in football. Here's the return, running room. The kicker knocks him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Vernon Jeffries on the return, 34 yards. Our ESPNU top 150 most recruited athletes. Well, Florida leading the way, Texas, Georgia, and then we have California and South Carolina.
Oh, wow, that looks a little low right there for that California number. I tell you, no one can argue with the number of athletes coming out of Florida right now. It is incredible. Look at the different programs in the state, and the number of players. It truly is amazing.
Stumbling is Parker Ray, now going long. Man coverage, and it's merely a catch. And there's a flag thrown. Kyle Hirschfelder, the intended receiver. And Eddie Cabrera was all over him, perhaps impeding his view of that pass.
Looks like Eddie Cabrera was a little bit late turning back towards the football. Got the left side of his body on the receiver and interfered with his ability to make the catch.
So we'll get the official ruling on this interference call.
Parker Ray threw the ball up in the air. And you see Cabrera getting in a jostling match and a little too much contact.
So they mark it off, 15-yard walk-off, and here's the handoff on the short side of the field. Running play that doesn't go anywhere. In fact, a 2-yard loss on the play as Mike Weber, who had an outstanding first quarter with close to 100 yards, will have to subtract a couple from his total, bring him down to 96.
And I'll tell you what, there's some hitting going on at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. These guys are putting a hat on a hat and laying some pad on each other.
Chris Roberson comes in the game in the backfield for Katy. Usually the blocking fullback seldom gets to carry the football. He's lined up just to the left to the tailback, Weber. Little counter play on the handoff to Weber as he slants back toward the middle of the field and takes it across the 45-yard line. Officially a gain of 3.
A little draw action right there by Katy on the offensive side of the ball. A little sprint draw, delayed handoff to Weber as they try to cut him back against the grain.
Stojkovic comes in the game for the first time. He's the backup quarterback and also a wide receiver, Michael Stojkovic. He's going to flank wide out to the right, wearing number 7. There he is. Cypress Bay showing pressure, and they're coming. Ray on the rollout, intended for Stojkovic. Incomplete on the diving attempt at the 32-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down, and the punting team comes onto the field for Katy. 7-6, Katy leads Cypress Bay.
That's on Parker Ray. Sprinting out to his right. Tough throw for a left-hander. Coming back, trying to make that deep out to his fellow quarterback along the sideline.
Davey Hurtado's first and only punt was blocked, coming right out of his hands by C.J. Ulysses. So let's see now how the punting team defends. We'll see if Cypress Bay comes after him again. Hurtado is standing at his own 42. Nice kick, angled toward the corner, and it is into the end zone for a touchback. 44 yards on the punt by Davey Hurtado. We'll step aside here in Katy, Texas, with the Tigers leading the Lightning 7-6. ESPNU's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase is presented by NikeFootball.com. Leave nothing. And in part by the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. Back with you outside of Houston, the suburb of Katy, Texas, with a long storied tradition, and they lead Cypress Bay, Florida 7-6. Dave Cohen, David Diaz-Infante, Melissa Knowles with you from Rhodes Stadium, named after Jack Rhodes, a one-time biology teacher and football coach at Katy High School. We have a 1st and 10 for Cypress Bay at their own 20-yard line. Douglas trying to sweep right, feet go out from under him. Second time this has happened. That's going to be a 3-yard loss.
Douglas's feet got going a little too fast for his own good as he tried to turn the corner and then head upfield.
Again, we're playing on artificial turf. Cypress Bay plays on natural grass back in the Florida area. They did play one preseason scrimmage on the turf. It's Greg D, number 22, who scored the lone touchdown for Cypress Bay. He's in the backfield with Jason Douglas. Slow developing play. Douglas trying to go outside, then inside, and going mostly nowhere. Going to bring up 3rd down and long.
A little split action in the backfield for Cypress, trying to get the Katy defense out of their responsibilities, out of their leverage. Katy defense staying at home, playing discipline.
3rd down and 12 now for Cypress Bay. Corey McCabe, number 13, went in motion, and he comes back on the short side handoff, and they spill him down in the backfield. A little short side reverse to the motion man, McCabe, and that play was snuffed out.
Watch Grant Clifton, the inside linebacker, make the play, run underneath the blocker. Sure tackle, making sure that McCabe cannot get loose. Little end around, sniffed out again. Been impressed by Katy's defense, how disciplined they've been, and all the different things Cypress Bay is trying to throw at them.
Now Stephen Fosher back at his own goal line, awaiting the snap and the punt. Nose up spiral, Hirschfelder at the 47. And he is knocked backwards and out of bounds, so he'll lose 1 yard after the 34-yard punt. And let's go down to Melissa Knowles, who's with the principal of Cypress Bay.
We're here with Scott Neely, who is the principal of Cypress Bay. And Scott, what has it been like this week on campus?
The excitement has just been incredible. This is the first time Broward County Schools, run by Superintendent Jim Notter's, been able to get outside of the county and come to Texas, and we're so happy.
What does this mean to a school like Cypress that's coming from Florida and playing in Texas?
Well, I'll tell you, all the people here have been just incredible. You know, the support we've gotten, everybody, the support from downtown, the support from out here in Texas. Can't wait to come back next year and put another win on.
Now, they call you the Big Kahuna. Why do they call you that?
Well, I've been surfing for 14, 15, since I'm 15 years old, and I'm still the Big Kahuna of the school.
Guys.
Michael Weber on the carry deep into Cypress Bay territory. He ran past the defenders and the Big Kahuna, and he has a sizable gain.
Michael Weber's the Big Kahuna on the field right now. He's been dominating on the offensive side of the ball. I like how Michael Weber runs his pad level, how he squares his shoulders at one point when he turns upfield. Good patience running behind his blockers. Quickness, foot speed.
31 yards on the carry, 130 in the game, and he'll get the call again. And taking it up the middle, inside the 15, did the ball come loose? He has fumbled once earlier in the game. He has fumbled again. And now the question is, did he turn it over? And there's your answer. Yes. second turnover committed by Michael Weber, so after the big run, they give it back.
You're going to see Michael Weber again, just a lead play right off the right side. Throw his helmet down, and that ball comes popping out as Cypress Bay puts the helmet and the pad right on the football. Boy, you got to hold on to that ball like it's important now. Doesn't matter how much you run with it, you can't hold on to it. It's guys like Shane Gordon putting his helmet on the ball.
So now a fired up Mark Wendolo and Cypress Bay, the Lightning, getting the ball back. And they'll run it inside. It's Douglas. Short gain, shy of the 20-yard line. They'll give him 4 on the carry. He is a workhorse. Jason Douglas, a senior, only 5'8", 170 pounds, 12 carries, good for 44 yards here in the first half.
And on that play, Cypress Bay, they pull an offensive lineman out wide, and Douglas has an option of following the lineman or cutting back up inside the first hole he sees.
Inside handoff, and it is D, and they've got him by an ankle. He's fighting for maybe a yard on the play. That was Grant Clifton again. He's made a couple of really fine defensive plays. Not fooled on that inside handoff.
And he wasn't about to let go of that ankle. He was gnawing on it like a bone. I'll tell you that much. Hanging on, and D was trying to break loose.
He came in with 17 unassisted tackles. He's had at least 2 beauties today. Third down, and they call it 3. Douglas going wide, in trouble, going down. A 5-yard loss. And the defense, once again, has risen to the occasion. Caleb Chandler with help from his friends, and it's a punt coming up for Cypress Bay.
I talked about the defensive discipline by Katy, Texas. Watch Caleb Chandler stay at home, play with outside leverage, and force everything back to the inside.
Mosher with a nose-up spiral again. Hirschfelder at the 46, going wide and going down, back on the Katy side of the 50-yard line after a 29-yard punt. So we've got 3:16 to play in the first half here in Katy, Texas. The home team leads it 7-6. ESPNU is now in high definition. To get the great action on ESPNU in high definition, just contact your local cable operator or satellite provider. ESPNU HD, the big picture in college sports. 7-6, Katy, Texas leading Cypress Bay, Florida. And following the punt, they will give Katy the ball just across the 49-yard line, so they'll mark the forward progress.
In Katy's last 3 drives, it ended. They had a blocked punt, a punt, and now a fumble. And they've got excellent field position. Can they take advantage of it? Can they hold on to the football and make something good happen for their ball club?
Second straight time they're beginning in the Cypress half of the field at the 49-yard line. I don't think Mark Wendolo was happy about the spot after the receiver was hit and knocked clear across the midfield stripe.
Yeah, forward progress.
Never got back. But that first hit drove him back. So here we go on 1st and 10 from the Cypress Bay 49. Ray shows pass. He's got Grant, and Grant nearly broke away from the tackle for big yardage. Brought down by C.J. Ulysses. 6-yard gain.
You're right, Grant had a chance. He knew it. He thought he broke that tackle, but just enough by Ulysses to make that play.
So it becomes 2nd down and 4. This time Swanson is the wingback on the right. They'll run behind him, and Jeffrey is brought down, tripped up for a loss in the backfield. That's a 4-yard loss on the play. Josh Smith smashing through to make the stop.
Jeffrey's now in a tailback for Weber. He gets the handoff, trying to bounce it outside. How do you stop that outside zone play? By penetration along the defensive line. Look at Cypress Bay. Causing penetration along the defensive line of scrimmage.
Brings
by
up
Josh Smith.
3rd down and 9 now, David. Katy deploying a wide slot left in a passing situation. Shovel pass. And running free is Roberson with a marker down on the play. Roberson is going to carry it into the end zone. But there is a flag at the original line of scrimmage. Now we'll see what this one is all about.
Roberson was not about to be caught from behind.
You got offsides on the defense. Decline. Score's good.
So Roberson goes all the way. And Katy has up their lead now in the 48-yard run.
Watch Parker Ray, a little wraparound, hiding, handed the ball off to the big fullback. Fooled the whole defense of Cypress Bay. And look at Roberson, says, no, you're not bringing, you may catch me, but you're not bringing me down.
That was 165-pound Eddie Cabrera trying to bring him down. And Roberson outweighed him by 40 pounds as Valbuena kicks it through to make this one a 14-6 game.
Roberson, the team captain, looking for dirt, and he found it. Hey, dirt!
A little bit of trickery. The wraparound inside handoff and the 44-yard run by Chris Roberson.
I love it, the big fullback, 205-pounder. You see him. Boy, he was hiding behind the lineman back there, and he just kind of sprung out to the right. And he said, you may catch me, but you're not bringing me down, son.
Weren't you and I talking about the lost art of ball faking last night?
That's right, we were. Last night over dinner.
That was a beautiful fake by Parker Ray, and Roberson carried it out beautifully, literally and figuratively. 44 yards and a 14-6 Katy, Texas lead.
Well, Coach Gary Joseph's got to be proud of his football team. You know, just talking about they're going to be able to answer a lot of questions coming in this game. You know, how much has my team, this team, grown up over the course